My name is James Harris, and I pastor at Trenches Community Church. This past year has exposed the heart of our nation in many ways, particularly how African American males are viewed and valued. We are still dealing with the same treatment of oppression and racism that are perpetual through systems, structures, frameworks, and philosophies, and are noticeable in areas such as policing, healthcare, hiring, housing, the hierarchy of our country, and judicially. The images of Ahmaud Arbery being murdered and George Floyd being suffocated to death by a knee on his neck speaks volumes about continued dehumanization of people of color. This series during Black History Month is not to condemn anyone, but to continue to bring about awareness, encourage compassion, and to break down the middle walls of separation, particularly between white and Black America. The overt and the covert hostility can be dismantled through believers taking the lead in change by submitting to the will of God and doing life through the cross. America, you don't have to be afraid of us or be intimidated by us. We love where we live and want to see our country become one nation under God. Welcome to See Me. Man, hey, I've been waiting for this last episode 4 of See Me. It's been a tremendous week or 3 weeks as we've interviewed and chopped it up and, conversed with 15 African-American males who are making it happen. And on their unique platforms, they're changing the narrative about how most of America might view African-American males. So I am so excited about this last episode. We want to remind you, man, that, hey, like the video stated, we're not here to condemn anyone. We're here to bring awareness, right? We're here to encourage, our African-American brothers and sisters, concerning our value and our dignity. And we're hoping that as we share our experience, that it'll produce some compassion, toward, our culture, our ethnicity, and so forth. So I'm hoping that you guys are here to lean in, man. During the episode, feel free to, type in a few things, encourage us, let us know how we can improve, and so forth. So again, we have a star-studded lineup tonight, a star-studded lineup. I am so excited. I really appreciate these brothers. So KK, let's bring them on, man. Look at these dudes. They are looking wonderful. They are looking amazing, man. I got my guy David Pitts in the house. I got my son-in-law, Anquan Allen in the mix. I got Kyle Sawyer in the midst. Kyle was in my youth group when he was tiny, and now he's all grown with wife and kids and making it happen. And then I got Dr. Kelvin Lee in the house. All right, y'all gonna see that Kelvin is right here. He right here. He ain't gonna go up there. He ain't gonna go down there. He gonna be right there. And Ezra Bell, man, I got Ezra. Since I've known this brother has always inspired me. He's doing the work. So I'm gonna allow them to kind of introduce themselves and to talk about what they do, professionally. Let's go ahead and start with David Pitts.
Blessings, everybody. My name is David Pitts. I'm a mental health therapist at the Battle Creek VA, serving the veterans and meeting the needs in the communities.
Thank you. How about Anthony?
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity tonight to to dialogue with you fellas. But my name's Antoine. I'm a nurse practitioner. I mostly practice in emergency medicine. I'm also an entrepreneur, and kind of dabble here and there in multiple things. But excited to be here tonight, fellas.
Thank you, Twan. Kyle Sawyer.
What's up, everybody? My name is Kyle Sawyer. I am a general manager at Verizon Wireless in Elkhart, Indiana.
Thank you, Kyle. Calvin.
Good evening. My name is Calvin Lee, and currently express myself in a number of roles in the community, such as plant manager, I'm a business owner, as well as a college professor and an author. And hopefully here real soon, an inventor. It's good to be here.
Yes.
Ezra.
Hey, salute and respect, Pastor James. Thanks for having us. Ezra Bell. I am the Director of Student Engagement at Kalamazoo Valley Community College. Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for joining us. I think that we're echoing a little bit, and I'm not sure why that is. So yeah, we'll make the adjustments as we go. Man, I learned this from Calvin. Every time Calvin sees me, he asks me this question: how's the family? So I want to start off today by asking you guys a question related to the family. What does your immediate family mean to you? In a couple of words, what does your immediate family mean to you? D. Pitt, start us off.
Wow, my immediate family, it's I don't know, it's my roots, it means everything to me. It's what I press for, what I fight for, what I grind for, what I pray for. I mean, they're everything.
That's what's up. And how long have you been married, my brother?
I've been married, I think 13 years now.
All right, get it right. Get it right. Ezra, talk to me, man. What does your immediate family mean to you, bro?
Hey, so listen, I'm gonna go with simply everything.
Yeah.
The way I move, when I move, and why I move.
Man. One more person. I ain't even gonna choose the next person. Y'all just gonna have to chime in. What does that immediate family mean to you?
It's what humbles me. It's what it's what I strive for. To kind of set what that looks like on the day to day. Planting that seed for my children. Planting that seed for my wife, and also receiving the seeds that they have to plant into me, to make me a better person and to make them a better person as we interact in this everyday world.
Yeah, man. Wow. Thank you guys so much for sharing that. Because I think America needs to be able to see, and hear, how we lean into family. Is that our families are not dysfunctional. All of our families are not dysfunctional. We're in there. We're married. We have kids. We're raising them up. So that's part of changing the narrative. And I'm just so blessed to be able to know men like you guys who encourage me, all right, to do family, to continue to love my wife and my kids, and so forth. I got another question, though. I got another question about to come up, Twan. This is going to be a deep one. This is going to be a deep question. Man, our culture as African-American males, man, what do you appreciate about our culture as African-American males? In other words, I'm just going to toss this one out, all right? And maybe it'll help you guys kind of lean into what I'm trying to say. Man, that bromance is powerful, man. That bromance, man. The brothers, man, y'all be loving each other. We don't give, check it out, Ezra, we don't give five like this.
I know.
I know.
And then we do all this, and then we bring it in.
Yeah.
Bring it in. So y'all talk about that. What do you love about our culture as brothers, man?
I think, like you said, man, we are passionate, genuine. I've been taking even a lighter step. When I'm out of town or somewhere unfamiliar and I see a brother, we give him that nod to let you know everything is all right. That's the unspoken language. So just
For sure.
we all go through it, like that unspoken, unwritten love language that we have because we know what we have to go through. So just the love and the passion and being genuine.
I'm feeling you right now. Would anybody else want to lean into that?
That's the creativity of our culture.
Wow.
That's what I love about it. I mean, how many aspects of our culture do you look at and be like, that's the first time it's been done, and it's been something that we've created and that we have brought to light. You know, I love that about our culture. You know, it forever amazes me. It's forever mind blowing because it's something else every day. It's like, yep, there we go, creating again.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're going to probably talk a little bit more about, you know, because man, our gift, we got multiple gifts, but just like you said, Antoine, you know, we are very creative, very innovative, you know, and our society, our nation needs to continue to recognize that because we bring something to the table. We bring something to the table. And like I said, we're going to say a little bit more about that later. So I have another question here. How are you adding value to your community? How are you guys adding value to your community? And it doesn't have to necessarily have to be what you do for a living. It can just be what you are passionate about. All right. So how are you adding value to your community?
I'll jump on that one. One of the ways that I'm adding value to my community is walking in love. I think that's for me, you know, being able to demonstrate, you know, the passion and the love for all humanity, regardless of what. Other people may, you know, walk past me and grab their purse and keep it close to them because they see me coming, but you know, I'm yet gonna still walk in love. And so that's one of the things that I add to the community. It's just that spirit of love.
Well, let me pull on the guy below me on the screen. His name is Calvin Lee. Calvin Lee, what do you bring to the community? How do you add value to our community?
So currently I'm mentoring 9 business owners. I also first and foremost, I mentor and develop my family. That's our first responsibility as Black men. Mentoring and develop my family in a way to where they look up to me. Then I take that out and I take them no matter where I go, where no matter where I go, people see me with respect, they treat me with respect, and I show that with a measure of resilience and that self-respect that I have to implore for myself. So when we look at how we as men carry ourselves, sometimes we kind of lose that focus and that awareness in that. And my family is first. Then I take that into my job where currently I'm also mentoring several people in their marriages. They're going through hardships in their marriages. It's just a matter of adding value no matter where I go. And I have a team to do that, trying to actually seek opportunities to help people because I know a lot of us are in need of that help. So I do seek those opportunities, and those are just a few things that I'm doing to add value to my community.
What about you, Ezra? How do you add value, bro?
You know, I really think Pitch summed it up very well. You know, it's to move consistently or with consistency through the day, right? And moving with that consistency of love, moving with that consistency of compassion, family is first, right? I know I have a 20-year-old daughter that's watching my moves. I know I have 2 sons that are watching my moves. And so, you know, whatever it is that I'm doing in the community, the goal is to do it in a manner that would first uplift Christ, and secondly uplift the morals, and the values that the family and my community has raised me with, right?
Wow.
And so just continuing to move with integrity, man, and doing that on a consistent basis. That's the value I bring to my community.
Yeah, yeah.
Amen.
That's what's up, bro. Now, I get this all the time. When I tell people how old my oldest daughter is, they like, what? You don't even look like you. So when you said that you got a 20-year-old, I was like, what? You look like you're 25.
Yeah. Well, I'll take it.
Oh
Though.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. That does give it away a little bit.
Just a little bit. But nah, I count that a blessing as well. You know what I mean? And I attribute part of that to the way that we move on a daily basis and moving with that love and consistency, man.
Most definitely.
That's what's up. Hey, you've been asked to sit at the table of influence, and you're the only one of color at the table of influence. What would you say to a company, church, or organization if you're the only one at the table of influence? What would you say? What would be your thoughts?
I think the
First thought that comes to mind in a situation like that is, first you need to understand why you're there. Sometimes you can be called to something and we don't necessarily understand why we're there or the purpose of being called there. We just see it as an opportunity to be in the spotlight. And so it's very important to understand the why more so than the what. So the first thing to do is understand why you're there so it can help kind of guide your motives and what you have to deliver while you're there.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Twan. Twan, you was about to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think kind of adding to what Calvin had to say. Once you understand like why are you there? The other question that you should bring to the table is, why am I the only individual at this table of color? That also needs to be discussed, to put that on at the forefront. And then from there, now that you know why you're at the table, then let's discuss why I'm the only individual here of color. So you already know where I'm going with this whole conversation and how we should move next as it relates to the growth of this organization.
Mm-hmm.
That's diversified.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Twan.
No, I was just gonna say, if you diversify, then you'll be able to touch more aspects of this organization and make this organization whole. So
yeah,
I think you look at it from a broader perspective by starting small, like Calvin said.
Because at times, our society will invite one of us to the table and expect for us to be the voice for the whole culture.
Yeah.
But you need a, like Twan was saying, you need a diverse table of people at the table, so that you can hear different perspectives. So what I'm learning in my life is that I don't want to be used as a token either, to make an organization look good or whatever. No, let's do this for real.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. Anybody else want to lean into that?
Well, yeah, I was going to add to that. So you mentioned that sometimes we're asked to be the voice of the whole community, but sometimes we're at that table to quiet the voice of the whole community. So you don't want to be a token. You do want to speak with integrity and speak from the heart. You don't want to quiet your voice. So for people that are going through that, you want to speak from the heart, and then get to a point where you can get them to understand we need that diversity, like Twan said. So I think that's important too.
That's what's up. Hey, do you believe, are you guys here? Is it echoing?
It is.
I think it's for us, but my wife doesn't hear it, so I think
she doesn't hear it online?
Nah, she don't hear it online.
Okay.
I mean, y'all might want to ask a couple people, but I think we're good.
Yeah, that's technology. That's what technology does. Okay. Do you believe now, this is another question that I kind of thought of earlier today. Do you believe the reoccurrence of African-American males being dehumanized on national media outlets have produced post-traumatic syndrome disorder? Okay.
Yes.
Do you believe, now I know we got some therapists, some professors, hey, lean into that. Do you think that it's producing trauma in our lives? And if so, in what way?
Yeah, the images of black men and black women, brown men and brown women being misused and abused, the narrative of trauma, of depression. When you see that so much, so often, it's like a recurring theme. It has a way to break your spirit.
Mm.
I remember when with George Floyd, when George Floyd was killed, and it was just constantly on the news, on the media, seeing the images, and it became difficult to do my job because it had broke my spirit. I was hurt, and I had to kind of pull back to kind of regroup and process it and release that. But absolutely, I think the images and the narratives can definitely can cause some trauma in people's lives.
Now, because thank you so much, Pitts, D Pitts, I call him D Pitts. Thank you so much for answering that. Because we're kind of running out of time here, we're going about 40 minutes. What do you think we can do as African American men to reduce that trauma? Now, I just read an article earlier today, about veterans, and it was talking about how veterans can reduce the trauma that they've experienced because of being a part of war or whatever. And the way that they do that is by volunteering. Okay, is by actually, being a part of making a change. So that was an article that I read, because when you're a part of making a change, it gives you energy, it gives you value, and it kind of helps your mental. So again, how do you think we as African American males can reduce the trauma that we've experienced for decades as it relates to how we've been treated?
Hey, I think the first thing we have to do is kind of get back on our roles with regard to mentorship. I think there's been a disconnect between, the generations, I'm gonna just say they came before us, and the generations that are coming behind us. And for whatever reason, that disconnect has not allowed us to continue to build and encourage one another.
Yeah.
And so, at the end of the day, I think we have to be willing to take this one person at a time, and literally each one reach one, um, until we get ourselves into a position where we stop, looking at community service and gathering as a negative situation, right? If we may hear the term community service in our community, and in other communities they hear service learning, right? And so we have to begin to make sure that our young people and our young minds understand the language, so that
Yeah.
they can be a part of the dialogue at the level that they need to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so that's on us. And this type of gathering gives me hope, and I know we're gonna get there
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right. Anybody else want to lean into that?
I think another good point is, at some point you have to monitor or guard what you take in, because there's so much going on, right? And if all you're seeing is one thing, eventually it's going to play on your mind. So not only guard what you take in, guard what articles you see. We understand there's trauma happening, but it's not our duty to see everything, right? So we got to take some responsibility off ourselves, and then also, like Ezra said, get out there in the community, do something good, right? The more well-doing you see, the better off you'll be. I know a lot of my peers or friends, we have a saying like, we're just trying to make it home to our family, right? So if you're out in the day, if you just try to do a good deed for the community, it's the same type of idea, same type of practice that can pour in some more positivity into your heart, into your mind.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
That's
One thing, if I can add, you know, seeking the support, seeking that mental health support is huge. I think that's a huge way to, to bring healing into a brother's life, is to seek that support that you need, and not be ashamed, to go to a therapist, for mental health issues, you
Agreed.
know. So, let's break down that wall, that taboo, nothing wrong.
Yeah.
come freely, come boldly to the throne of grace.
Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Y'all throwing out that wisdom. All right, I'm about to give you 3 scenarios. And you can choose from any one of these 3 scenarios to elaborate on it. The first scenario is this, and I think somebody hit on it. I think David hit on it. Okay, you're walking down the street, and another individual is walking toward you from a different ethnic group, right? What has been your experience in this situation? All right. In your opinion, why do you think that happens? That's the first scenario. The second scenario, okay, and you probably done experienced this, or you've probably had some brothers who have experienced this, right? You are qualified for the job, but continue to get passed over. Why does this occur, in your opinion? Third scenario, you have been pulled over by a white police officer. What is your first reaction or thought? And then why has it gotten to that point in our nation? 3 scenarios. You can choose for any 3 of those scenarios and elaborate.
That's some good stuff.
Yeah.
The first one with the woman, with the purse, walking down the street, see me kind of clench her purse, in fear. I think it happens. Definitely, she's been watching too much TV. And it's like, that's not me. All these assumptions and jumping to conclusions. I may look like Junebug on the show that you watched the other day, but that's not me. And and he's an actor. And so, we're talking about changing the narrative. It starts with like what we're doing now, having these conversations. Because that's not me. Get to know me. Don't judge a book by its cover. Get to know the book. Read the book. Then make a decision on whether or not this is a good book or not.
Thank you. It's open.
I think all 3.
The reason, I mean, quite naturally, I have had that happen too, where I'm walking down the street and someone may react or even cross the street. I think one of the things we have to understand is that racism is fueled by a number of things: fear, hatred, ignorance, power. It's fueled by a number of things. And that ignorance component comes on both ends of the spectrum. So, that's one thing. And you talked about the concept of a person, getting passed over for a job. Quite naturally, some of that could be to a racist side of things, but there are other sides of that. Did we prepare ourselves enough to get the promotion? Which leads me to say there's more that we can do in terms of putting out what we are capable of doing. We don't always take the step to do that. Sometimes we're quick to make excuses as to why we did not do, but it's our responsibility to put out what we are designed to put out. Okay, so it's very important for us to see that we are far greater than what we've become. And sometimes it's simply a matter of stepping through that door when that door is open, or at least preparing ourselves to step through once the door is open.
Yeah, and I really get that. And I totally agree with you on our preparation. I think in the question, I was kind of leaning towards like, all right, we have the same credentials as somebody else. The same exact credentials. I mean, we put in the work and so forth, and then we get passed over. And I've heard that happen, so many times, from individuals, is that, okay, I'm right there. I'm in the same place. I'm in the same spot. And then I continue to get passed over for that promotion. But thank you, Calvin, for that. Somebody else, choose one of those 3 scenarios. Antoine?
Yeah, I mean, what I was going with that, I mean, all 3 scenarios, what keeps coming back to mind to me is we're viewed as a threat, and I think that's the narrative that needs to get broken. You know, whether we're walking down the street and somebody else from a different race or the same race, you know, or we're viewed as a threat. You know, if we get pulled over by a police officer, no matter what color they are, we're viewed as a threat. You know, for a majority part, this is not 100%, but this is the narrative that's been created by African Americans, especially African American men in this country that we live in, is that we're a threat. Also, you know, getting passed over by a job, we also can be viewed as a threat. We're change what that looks like when we sit at the table, because number one, we talked about before, we are creators. Then number two, at times they don't know how to relate, or are they going to be looked at different because now we sit at the table with them. You know, that organization or that company or that individual is going to look down upon because you have African Americans sitting at your table now. Does your company come to that? You know, because we're looked at as a threat. So once that narrative is broken, you know, so many things will look different in our day-to-day lives.
And I think that we hit on this a little bit, but I want to bring it to the table again. Why do you think that we are considered as a threat? You know, I don't know. I get it, but I don't get it. Why are we considered as a threat? Ezra, you got your mouth open. You ready to?
You know, I think it goes back to the hate you give, right? You know, it might be hard pressed to find individuals to, you know, put it out there on the table. But again, I think it goes back to what Antoine was just talking about. You know, one of the biggest concerns is, oh, we can't continue to have the same conversations, or, oh, they're going to stop whatever we've been doing. They're going to stop it when they walk in the room, or we can't. It's no longer business as usual. And you're pretty much right. When we walk in the room, it's not that way, right? Yeah. Because it's information that we have to, you know, pick up and we have to glean to ensure that our communities and those that have been excluded, you know, get said information. I think somebody said it earlier. I don't remember who it was, but the biggest thing for me is always, especially when I'm in these spaces, is just not to make the same mistake that they made, and whoever they is, right? It doesn't have to be a white individual. You know, sometimes in spaces where we treat each other just as bad. You know what I mean? And so, for me, the goal is just always not to repeat the mistakes of the past, right? Yeah. How can we move forward?
To add to that, you know, if you really think about this is really a mindset carried on from generation to generation. Absolutely. So you think about going all the way back to the days of Africa, and you see the pyramids and things of that nature. They saw clearly the potential. So when you see that potential, quite naturally, you would try to do anything to stunt that. All you have to do is look at any situation where we've been put on an equal playing field. We've always triumphed and exceeded past anyone that we were up against. So quite naturally, that is in play, and people understand that. So quite naturally, when they see that happening, there is a threat, there is intimidation factor there, and they're going to do what they can to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. I was reading an article today, and I think our video director is going to pull this up. It's from the Brookings Institution, Future of the Middle Class Initiative, and it was written November 19th, 2020. And I want to read through this real quick because I think that this is just really good. So just give me a minute or so, and we'll be finishing the next 5 minutes here. On many social and economic measures, Black men fare worse not only than white men, but white and Black women, as we show above. All right, so it talked about some disparities in this article. Part of the cause is that Black men are uniquely stigmatized, and I have in there worthy of disgrace and greatly disapproved, condemned before proven. All right, according to studies of implicit bias, right? And then it says here, conducted by the political scientist Ishmael White and then Corinne McInerney, more than 40% of white respondents rank many or almost all Black men as violent. white men are less than half as likely to be described in this way at about the same rates as for black women, while white women are very unlikely to be labeled as violent. It's no surprise then that black men are also more likely to be stopped by police, more likely to be frisked, more likely to be arrested, more likely to be convicted, and more likely to be killed by law enforcement. Black men have a different social reality from their black female counterparts, he writes. The perceptions of others influence black men's social interactions with coworkers and neighbors and structure a unique form of relative deprivation, the demanding lack of material benefits considered to be basic necessities in society. In this regard, the intersectionally framework becomes useful from illuminating black men's multiplicities and vulnerabilities. All right. So this fear, you know, it says actually it affects our interactions. It affects our relationships. It affects how people view us. And this is why the narrative has to be changed in the society, because again, Kyle, you know, Antoine and the rest of you guys, we've played sports before. And man, everybody brings something to the table. Every member of that team brings something to the table. Yes, Dennis Rodman was a little different playing for the Bulls, but he did his job.
Well, he was different playing for the Pistons too.
Most definitely, he did his job, right? You know, because he brought something to the table. You know, so I wanted to read that, you know, because we was kind of in that vein. Now we're about to land the plane these next 5 minutes here, okay? Now, we're going to lighten it up a little bit, okay? I want to ask you this question because everybody online has a son. Everybody online has a son. And me and my family, you know, Antoine Allen is a part of my family. We talk about legacy. Okay. So question, what mental legacy do you want to leave your son in order for him to thrive in a society whose social construct consists of racism and or systems that are not in his favor? What mental legacy do you want to leave with your son?
Oh, I was unmuted. Yeah, there's something I think about all the time, you know, having sons, 3 sons and a daughter, you know, is relentless. You know, I want them to be relentless and fearless, you know, to never think of anyone better than you or above you. That relentless spirit, no matter what you face with, dig deep and keep on pressing forward.
Thank you, bro. Anybody else? Calvin, I saw you leaning into the camera a little bit.
Yeah. You know that you asked that question. It's interesting. The first thing that came to mind was when God described himself in the Bible, and he says that I am, and I am. Notice he didn't put a word on the end of that, because we have a tendency to accept people's labels and words of us. And it's important to know that we are more than what words or labels people can put and describe us. And for me, for my son, it's important for him to know that he's more than the labels people put on him. And he shouldn't restrict himself to that. And a lot of us restrict ourselves by accepting what other people have told us we are, not realizing we're far greater than any word or label a person can put on us.
Sound like a daddy right there. Sound like a father right there, bro. Come on.
That's good.
I would say that just the mindset that they can't stop you, man. If God is with you, who can be against you? Like all the adversity, all the things that's put in place to stop you has not worked. It may look like it's working, but it's not working. Like we're still striving. We're still having these conversations. In every area of science and every area of entertainment, we're there. Like we're there and we're making a difference. So my legacy is for him to understand that this system can't stop him. God is in control, and nothing can stop him.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, Twan and Ezra.
Yeah, for me, just knowing that we are spirit beings, we are emotional creatures. So just making sure that you're filling that bucket. As we go through life, you're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs, you're gonna have successes, you're gonna have failures, whatever that looks like. But at the end of the day, make sure that you're filling your bucket, that you're a young Black king. And whatever you touch is going to be greatness from it. And you're going to learn from it, whether you fall or whether you standing up straight. So that's why I just want to leave with my son, most definitely. Like, you are a young Black king, and what you touch will be greatness, man.
That's what's up, Ezra.
Hey, it's interesting. I wrote it's the one question I wrote an answer to, I think, almost, and here it is. I'm a soldier for Christ and for truth first, meaning our family and our community. You know what I mean? And at the foundation of our family is us as men, right? And so one day you're gonna be the foundation of your family. And as the foundation of your family, is beyond important that you are a righteous being, right? And like Antoine said, I don't care what they call you. Like Dr. Calvin said, it don't matter what they call you. You a king first. You know what I mean? And so it's about how you carry yourself. And so that's the mental legacy that I leave my sons and my daughter. Tell her the same thing. Listen, you a queen. Anything short of that, if he not on that level, then that's not the one for you.
Yeah, wow. Man, I'm a sensitive guy, and I'm trying to hold back the tears, man, because y'all, for real, bro, I'm serious, bro. This is beautiful. This beautiful, bro. And it's an honor and a privilege, again, to just have you brothers in my life, man, because this is so encouraging, man. And it helps me. It's energizing me. So I love you, brothers, man. Now we got to wrap it up. I wish we can go for another hour. And I really want you to think about this last question. This whole month, has been about changing the narrative. This whole month has been about, America seeing us in a beyond the melanin. All right, seeing us beyond our skin color, because we're more than our skin color. We're more than a month. And I really want you to think about this question and answer it. Okay. How would you complete this sentence? See me, I am. See me, fill in the blank. I am.
I'm righteous, man. See me. Like, don't, it's not that heavy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, for me, I think I just answered that in the last question. I don't accept any labels or words people put on me. And even for me and what I see in myself right now, I still know that I have a lot more to give to this life. I know that I'm filled with what God has put in me, and it's my goal to empty myself out before I leave here. I can't allow words and labels to stunt my growth in doing that. So I'm far greater than any words or labels you can give me.
So see me, I am.
Far greater than any words or labels you can give me.
Thank you, David. See me, I am.
You muted.
You was like, see me, I'm quiet.
See me, I am a man of integrity.
Yes. Twan, see me, I am
a human being.
Yeah, Kyle, wrap it up for us, bro.
This is really a tough one for me, but I'm gonna go with love, man. See me, I am love.
Wow. Bro, and you not just saying that. You didn't make that up. I've seen you be a lover, bro. I've seen you love, bro, for real. First of all, I've seen you love your wife and your kids and your community, right? And this bromance, this community of brothers that you around, man, I really appreciate, our time is up, man. I really appreciate you guys, and I think I forgot who said it, but I feel the same way. See me, I'm a human being, bro. I'm a human being, and my skin might be different than yours. You know, I might think different than you or whatever, but man, I'm a human being created in the image of God. Okay. So we deserve dignity. We deserve respect. And I'm hoping that See Me really help some individuals kind of lean in, you know, to our culture, lean into our experience. So I applaud you, brothers, for living for Christ, living for God, and being family men and community men and impacting our world one person at a time. Ezra Bell, one person at a time. Love you guys. We out of here.
Peace.
Peace.